players who had no hype going into college but still became stars. Back in 2009, there was a high school football player in Dry Branch, Georgia named Darqueze Dennard. He played multiple positions at Twiggs County High, making big plays as both a receiver and a defensive back. However, even with strong numbers, almost no college scouts were interested in him. But things got even worse when the only school that had offered him, Middle Tennessee State, suddenly pulled its scholarship. You see, Dennard went into his final high school game with 0 offers. He later admitted he had no idea what he was going to do with his life, since his family could not afford to pay for college, and walking on somewhere was not realistic. But something crazy happened that night. The thing is, Michigan State coach Dave Warner was at that exact game, but he was not there to see Dennard. He was actually scouting another player who had already committed. Yet when he watched Dennard match up against that player, he saw just how talented this overlooked kid really was. But even then, Dennard's chances were still hanging by a thread. As it turns out, Dennard's head coach had knee surgery earlier that year and never sent out his recruiting film, which explained why no big schools had noticed him. Without that film, he had been invisible to recruiters. Luckily, Warner saw enough in that one game to call Michigan State's head coach, Mark D'Antonio, and within a week, Dennard had a scholarship offer that completely changed his future. But his story was still just getting started. What I mean is, when Dennard arrived at Michigan State, he was considered a 2-star recruit at best, and some sites did not even give him a ranking. Yet he kept working, became a starter, and eventually helped create the famous no-fly zone defense that opposing quarterbacks tried to avoid at all costs. And in 2013, Dennard became one of the top defensive backs in the entire country as he helped Michigan State win the Big Ten championship, upset Ohio State, and then defeat Stanford in the Rose Bowl. So at the end of that season, the same player who once had 0 offers and thought his career was over was given the Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back in America